Good luck with anything happening on your side. Enjoy your day. We'll talk later. Bye bye. Alright, guys, since I am very tired, let's get this. Let's just keep reading without any interruption now. Let's just get to the hollowed, which hopefully is very. Oh, thank you for being short. Euclid. SB-1708 is located in containment site in the Rocky Mountains, Colorado. SB-1708 should be contained within a chamber lined with padded material. All requests for communication must be approved by at least 2 Level 3 personnel. SB-1708 is an entity of unknown origin, measuring 3.7 meters in height and weighing approximately 25 kilograms. The object is bipedal with 14 thin limbs, 2 located at the bottom, each splitting into 2 tentacle-like appendages. 2 located at the upper end of the torso, ending in points, and 4 protruding from the back between the shoulder blades. These 4 limbs appear to have suffered heavy burn damage, with no observable signs of healing. The remaining 6 limbs are hollow appendages with numerous orifices located on the upper chest, 3 down in a line in rows of 2. Medical analysis indicates that these limbs are attached to the subject's respiratory system and are used primarily for communication purposes. SB-1708's flesh is a pale metallic color and is composed of a combination of alkaline metals. SB-1708 exhibits muscular strength and speed that is far inferior to that of an average human. This weakness results in a distinct muscle twitch whilst the subject makes gross motions, giving it a stride of a sharp, sporadic movement. The head of SB-1708 is oval in shape and devoid of features, excluding 4 holes in the subject's face, located on the upper half of the cranial area, forming the shape of a rhombus. Approximately 2 centimeters beneath these holes is a black glass-like membrane. SB-1708 is capable of understanding orders given to it. However, SB-1708 does not seem to be capable of communicating using any known language and does not, under most circumstances, respond to external stimuli of any other kind. SB-1708 is frequently observed sitting in a crouched position in the center of its cell. The subject moves only when it is prompted to move by Foundation personnel, although does so cooperatively, in the presence of religious artifacts, ornaments, or textiles. SB-1708 enters a state of confusion, causing it to be less cooperative and more prone to self-harm. The datives do not have an effect on this behavior, therefore physical restraints may be used during testing. Placing the subject under emotional distress results in the subject emitting high-pitched screeching noises. When exposed to its own reflection, for example, the subject begins to emit sounds that have been observed to exceed a volume of 110 decibels? Yeah, decibels since its volume. See test log C. The subject shows an apparent affinity for music and can be found playing the same musical number at almost all times while undisturbed in containment. The subject uses the 6 frontal limbs to make these musical sounds, blowing air through its front limbs, causing its own bodily fibers to vibrate, creating a reverberated humming sound, whilst also plucking at metallic strings attached to its chest. See other file 1. As of, SB-1708 has made attempts at its own life. Foundation personnel are required to keep any weaponry off-site at all times in order to prevent the loss of potential critical data. Sharp objects are to be contained in locked storage. Addendum A. Notes on recovery. The Foundation took an interest in SB-1708 after reports of unidentified flying object activity in Brazil. Reports described a large reflective entity with wing-like appendages falling through the sky at approximately kilometers per second before crashing into an uninhabited building. An unidentified reflective substance was located on site by the Foundation, but the Foundation did not find anything else of interest and abandoned the project. On doctor who had taken an express interest in the project recovered evidence that Horizon Initiative forces had an anomalous entity under their possession somewhere in Brazil. A squad composed of 6 Foundation agents were sent to investigate, and it was discovered that numerous members of the Project Malice were in transit with the anomalous entity in containment. Stealth operation and espionage took place between Foundation and Horizon Initiative forces for weeks before Foundation forces located and intercepted the Project Malice cargo resulting in armed combat lasting approximately hours. Foundation forces recovered the anomalous entity after facing great resistance and suffering deaths and casualties. The subject was placed in containment shortly thereafter. NMC Test Log A. The subject was placed in a 3 x 5 meter cell composed of reinforced steel and lined with mirrors for increasing amount of time in order to observe the subject response. Just send the text real quick to somebody. There we go. Test A1. Date. Time frame subject was contained in cell for 30 seconds. Results. Subject began emitting high-pitched sounds at approximately 60 decibels. Subject was removed without resistance. Subject showed signs of distress. Test A2. Date. Subject was contained in cell for 5 minutes. Subject began emitting high-pitched sounds at approximately 90 decibels. Subject was removed without resistance. Subject was deemed unconscious shortly after removal. You ever had those like itches that like you feel like it's like in a specific spot, but then when you scratch it, it does not feel like you're scratching the itch at all until you later on find out it's at a different spot anyway. Test A3. The subject was contained in cell for 15 minutes. Subject began emitting high-pitched sounds at approximately 120 decibels after 10 minutes in containment. A quiet humming noise was observed emitting from the entity's chest for the remaining 5 minutes. Subject was removed with little resistance. Subject was deemed unconscious shortly after removal. Test A4. Subject was contained in a cell for 1 hour. Okay. Subject was contained in a cell for 1 hour. Subject began emitting high-pitched sounds at approximately 120 decibels after 10 minutes in containment. A quiet humming noise was observed emitting from the entity's chest for another 10 minutes before returning to a high-pitched sound emitted at approximately decibels. This resulted in the destruction of the chamber. Subject was found unconscious within the chamber of the mirror chamber shortly thereafter. Test A5. Date. Time frame subject was contained in a cell for 6 hours. If after 1 hour it already caused destruction, I'm not sure why 6 hours would be a wise idea. Additional information: chamber was replaced by a 3 x 5 cm cell composed of class 1 reinforced alloy located meters within the Rocky Mountains at the research site. The sole subject began emitting high-pitched sounds at approximately 120 decibels after 10 minutes in containment. A quiet humming noise was observed emitting from the entity's chest for another 10 minutes before returning to a high-pitched sound emitted at approximately decibels. A quiet humming noise was again observed emitting from the entity's chest for another 10 minutes. Electrical searches occurred and the chamber began showing signs of structural failure. The alloy began to vibrate and emit sounds at approximately decibels before collapsing in on the subject, conforming to the shape of its body. After approximately 30 seconds, the alloys fell to the ground and the subject collapsed. The subject was in a comatose state for nearly 3 weeks after this event. Further testing of SB1708 is not authorized. Research into the subject anatomy after test A5 shows signs that attempt to redacted. Okay, now give me some time, guys, because I have Google Chrome since I have voice meter banana or up, I do have Google Chrome set to a different output. So I'm just going to quickly change the output. There we go. And pause the music. That way, actually, I don't need. Why did I pause the music? Yeah, I mean, I paused the music anyway. But now you should be able to. Oh, never mind. The other file doesn't even work. Never mind then. Okay. All that for nothing. And music back on. Okay. The poor guy, well, creature thing. It's basically the same. Again, it's the Foundation being absolutely dumbasses. Because it's like the water nymph again. It's water nymph all over again. You did 3 tests where you're like, you know what, this should be enough. But then you decide to do 2 more tests, and now this SCP is forever afraid of you and wants to kill himself because he's afraid that you guys are going to stick in a room again for multiple hours. This and the water nymph are now both chronically depressed because of you guys.